You're on fire! Weirdo! Hippie type!
Well, we're back with you, Stranger Oddity Show, and we're talking about a Nicolas Cage movie called Mandy. We have not, actually, I thought I've talked about it before on the show, but I guess apparently we have not. Mandy, where do we start? Let's say first of all, I'm going to heed warning. Before you go out and watch it, it is a whack job film. If you're not familiar with Nicolas Cage's choice of roles lately, let's say within the last 10 years or so, he's played some really off-the-wall stuff, and Mandy is certainly one of them. I got the opportunity to actually see this on the big screen. Buddy of mine, we ended up going down to a theater, and it was playing, and we wanted to watch it. And so through the moments of the movie in the theater, we kept looking at each other and just couldn't help but thinking, what in the hell are we watching here? So keep that in mind before you run out and watch it. It's not a movie for everybody. It's extremely insane. It is just, it's gory, it's dark, it's wild, it's a nut job movie. It really is. But it's, in a sense, it has become, I like obscure films. I like really weird and bizarre films at times, because especially when they're kind of almost like hidden gem kind of movies. There's a lot of them out there. Trauma films, a lot of those are pretty weird and bizarre. Trauma has one called Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. I mean, just weird stuff like that. So, in light that during the taping of this, Nicolas Cage actually has another movie coming out called Willy's Wonderland. I have not seen it yet. I've been reading about it for a while now. It's been postponed a lot due to the pandemic and everything. But it's finally coming out on DVD. I intend to buy it, although it was available as a early rental on the streaming sites. But I didn't want to pay the extra money just to rent it and whatnot. I'd rather spend that money, wait a little while, and if I'm going to spend $20 on it, I'd rather watch it and own it and then find out it was bad, rather than anyway. But Mandy is basically you have Nicolas Cage and Mandy, his lady. I don't think the film. It's been a while since I watched it. I don't think the film identifies rather if they're married or not, but they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and that's, they kind of live in rural kind of country, and they encounter Mandy on her way. She's like walking to her job, I assume, and she works at like a convenience store or like a gas station type thing. And she gets spotted by these wackos in a van, and they're kind of like extremist, almost evangelistic kind of, I don't know. It's really hard to identify them. And they become obsessed, or the leader of this cult becomes obsessed with Mandy, wants to get her, find her, whatever, ends up capturing her. She obviously doesn't want to comply or whatnot, and it's a really, like I said, this movie's bizarre. It's very bizarre. And once they kind of realize this, they attack Nicolas Cage, and they basically kill her in front of him. They burn her alive, and so he gets out of his restraints that they got him tied up with barbed wire and whatnot, and he basically loses it. He goes on a kill crazy rampage, trying to attack these guys and track them all down. He makes this like battle axe looking thing out of like molten metal, and just sharpens it up and styles it up. And from what I read about all the behind the scenes of this thing is the director, Panos Cosmatos, I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing that right. The odd thing is his father has directed really well-known films like Tombstone and like I believe Cobra with Stallone, one of my favorites. His father has directed a lot of those. So this one has also got a really interesting cast as well. Richard Brake is in it. Richard Brake is also plays a really good character in Rob Zombie's 31, which is another whacked out kind of film. And Bill Duke. And if you're like me, growing up in the 80s and you love all those movies like Commando and stuff like that, and Predator, Bill Duke has been in a lot of those. He plays a really bizarre part of a guy in a like a motorhome that gives Nicolas Cage back his crossbow, and he goes, I got some other things you might want to need, or you might want. And Nicolas Cage is like, I was hoping you'd say that. And he's like, top shelf there. And he pulls out a couple of bolts for the crossbow. And he says, made them myself out of, bar stock steel or something. He's like, they'll cut through bone like a fat kid through cake. And I'm not kidding. That's the dialogue. So he goes on to spew and starts telling Nicolas Cage about, I know these people you're talking about, because Nicolas Cage is rambling on. It almost sounds like he's just like incoherent about stuff and talking about these freaks and what they've done, and like these crazy biker guys that are like monster zombie looking things. And so Bill Duke gets just like, I know these things you're talking about. He's like, I seen them. I heard that they were in carrier for LSD. The guy, the cook, he mixed them up a special batch, and they never been right since, and all this weird stuff. So, the also little known fact about this axe thing that Nicolas Cage starts wielding in this movie is actually the shape of it is taken by the design of a band called Celtic Frost, and it's one of the letters in the name. I think it's the F in the name of this band, which I've never really listened to them. It's kind of whacked out. I guess the director is really a big fan of that, so that's the shape of this weird axe thing that he's got. But overall, the reason why I actually do like the film, even though it sounds like it's like I'm knocking the film, is it is just that. It's so out there. It is so whacked out. It is so bizarre. It is such a, like, what the heck did I just watch kind of a movie, that I do like it. Now, it helps if you're a Nicolas Cage fan. I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan. I've love a lot of his films. Adaptation is another favorite of mine. Matchstick Men, he's done. It's a favorite of mine. Of course, then he's got those other oddball ones. Again, another kind of strange film, The Wicker Man. Just bizarre. I remember seeing like Vampire's Kiss as a kid. My dad and I watched it on TV. I actually ended up buying it on VHS, and even my dad just couldn't believe, like, what in the world was this movie. And a lot of his movies are kind of like that, where he's just bizarre. He's just a wild, eccentric actor, even dating all the way back. I mean, you can look at some of the early films where he's pretty out there. So again, like with that new movie coming out, I'm actually really dying to see it. It's going to be strange and weird, I assume. So, but yes, Mandy is certainly a bizarre film. It's crude. A lot of moments are very wild. It's gory. It's violent. It's it definitely covers all bases of. It's a horror film. It's a gothic film. It's a cult film. It's maybe a movie that may not understand right away. When I first saw it, I said, I don't think I'll ever watch that again. But then the more I thought about the movie, then I wanted to see it again. I actually did end up renting it on one of those the streaming sites, which is still weird to me. I don't know. I'm just used to going and renting the tape and all that. But anyway, I ended up watching it again through there, and then I ended up buying the thing and just kind of watched it and took it in for what it's worth. And again, I guess part of it too for me is I do like those kind of bizarre films. The actress that plays Mandy, Andrea Riseborough, she's perfect for the role. She definitely, whatever makeup they used on her to make her look kind of odd and misplaced is certainly intriguing. Richard Brake does his great, character as a cook, and he just has this moment where he's like, kind of sitting there looking at Nicolas Cage, and obviously once you look at Nicolas Cage in the movie throughout the time when he's just like hunting these guys, you can tell he's definitely he's over the edge and down the cliff. And Richard Brake kind of looks at him with that moment, and he's like, "It's cool, man." Just like the whole movie is just bizarre. So if you are going to watch it, keep that in mind. It's definitely strange and bizarre. Very violent, very, you may be wondering what in the world did I just watch. So, before we sign off here, there's a couple other ones that I wanted to cover. Some more whacked out Nicolas Cage films that are just honorable mentions for this. One of them he's alongside with Selma Blair, Mom and Dad. That movie is another just wild, tripped out, just crazy, demented, kind of a black comedy type dark nutsoid movie. Nicolas Cage, full on crazy, basically. I'll leave you to watching it yourself if you do care to actually watch it. Another one that is just as strange as Mandy is called Color Out of Space. A very weird, it's a H.P. Lovecraft thing, so definitely weirdo kind of thing in there. Mandy and this movie almost go hand in hand. Oddly enough, I'm holding the covers or the DVDs, and they have the same color schemes, the same thing. It almost looks like they were made like to be together or something like that. So Color Out of Space, definitely another bizarre one. These are both from the same studio, RLJ Films, so no surprise there, I guess. But absolutely a strange one. Mandy, Nicolas Cage, yeah. So I'm sorry I've been absent for a while on the radio here, but coming back around with you with another one. Mandy is certainly strange.